Can paralyzed kids get back on their feet and walk? Well, see for yourself right now on Keeping Kids Healthy.
He was on top of the world. College student Matt Weifels, a professional snowboarder, was on national television. He'd already won one event, finished second in another, and was on his way to winning a third. It was the best day of his life. Then, suddenly, it was the worst.
Literally before I even left the jump, I knew I was going to screw up. I wasn't very concerned because I'd taken big falls before. I tried to spot the ground. After I'd hit, I was sliding head first downhill. I wasn't stopping. I couldn't tell why. I don't know if I tried to sit up or just couldn't sit up, but then I asked them to take my snowboard off, and they said it's already off. I asked them to take my boots off. They said your boots are already off too. And that's when I just put my head back and had that actual instant thought, because I knew what had happened at that point.
Matt was paralyzed from the waist down. He was told he would spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. He'd never walk, never even stand again.
The first thought I had when I got hurt was that, like a mental image of like the lions attacking the wounded wildebeest, and how those get eaten first and stuff, and it's all right because they're injured and they need to get eaten. But how our society is not even that kind. That was like the first thought I had, was that how horrible our society is, because now I'm going to live.
It would have been devastating for anyone. But to fully appreciate what Matt lost, you need to understand what snowboarding meant to him.
Every morning I'd wake up really, really early, and I loved getting all my stuff together. It's kind of like a routine or just a preparation. It's almost like a prayer, you could say. It's so ritualized. I worship snowboarding. I specifically wouldn't allow myself to get in any relationships of any depth, because if you fell for someone, you might actually skip a day on the mountain. You'd lose your edge or something like that. I wouldn't allow it, Life was about experiences and riding every day and literally loving my life at age 18. I think I was spoiled. I remember looking up and being like, God, if you're out there, I don't need anything more. I love just staring at the mountains. In Breckenridge, you've got a western ridge or whatever, so the sun goes down behind the mountains, but then you've got this beautiful blue sky with the silhouette of the mountains, and every night it was just so cool because I'd look at that and know that the next day would come and I'd be able to ride those mountains. It was my one life love and dream and commitment.
And so when he was told that his one true love was going to be replaced by a wheelchair, Matt said, no, one way or the other, that will not happen.
I was giving myself two options. I was either going to work hard and work my way back onto my feet and into walking, standing life, or I was going to end my life.
You would never guess by looking at it, but inside this unassuming house in Provo, Utah,
good boy, lock it up and turn around.
Matt found the miracle he was looking for.
Mr. Sands, out on that treadmill till I tell you to get off of it. Get on that treadmill now.
For over 20 years, Leighton Weber has run the Sit Tall, Stand Tall program, where Matt and his friend, Tucker Fife, are learning to walk.
Now, when Matt Weifels came to the Sit Tall, Stand Tall program, Matt Weifels did this. Fell over. I had to sit him back up. I says, okay, Matt, I put my hand like this. Go to my hand, take it back as hard as you can. Go to my hand, take it back as hard as you can. And this took a number of months to get the stabilizers to start to function.
Just to sit up?
Just to sit in a vertical L.
To build strength, Leighton adds a weight-bearing exercise. Then comes sideways movement.
When Matt came here, because he couldn't move at all, I basically turned him. And I'd say to him, you understand what I'm doing? No, can't feel anything. Why am I doing this, okay? Here it is like this, turning. All of a sudden, I'm taking my hands off. He's turning. Can you feel that? No, you're doing it on your own.
Next, learning to flex the hips, then crawl.
Remember, each one of these people have a Harrington rod or some kind of fusion in their back, which makes them very stiff. When he would get in this position, his hips wouldn't drop any lower than that. It was the same thing with Matt. Now, once he starts to crawl, once the crawling element is in place, you've got to be able to get on these canes in space. This is what it takes right here. This is the whole key to it. Now, here we go. I'll stand here. I stood here with Matt like this. I'd stay stationary this cane and hold it. And then he would get his hips to pop up. Then I'd let it go. We start with that. Now look at his position. This is the most important part of this whole thing. Vertical position through his back. Hips dropped and through, and now he can function on his knees. Now, this man gets his braces in a couple weeks. He'll walk the first day he has his braces because he's achieved this step right here. Now pull it off.
Matt began to walk less than a year after his accident, but his conditioning continues. It's tough. Even learning to snap a leg brace closed takes superhuman effort.
The whole key is to straighten his leg, snap his brace on his own. Press your heel. That's what I want. Excellent. Good. Press it. Press it. Press it. You got it. Come on. You bailed on that one now. Press, 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 press. Press it. Come on. Press it. Press it. You're there. Press it. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Lock it, man.
It's locked. That much.
Okay.
Good job.
Then, finally, the treadmill.
This is a manual treadmill. When he started this, he couldn't do this. So I would stand behind him, and he would try to keep up with me. So I would be back here. He would get behind like this, where he would step on my foot, I'd have to stop. Then we went to 30 seconds. Then we went to 45. Then we went to a minute. And then all of a sudden, keep going. I stepped off, and he didn't even know I was off of it. And he was doing it. I'm going like, that's pretty good for somebody who can't walk.
Matt has now realized his miracle, life without a wheelchair.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, Layden.
When you enter your life standing and walking again, you are almost born again in a sense. Now you're relearning stuff. The first time you brush your teeth standing up again, first time you shave, you know, leaning against the counter so you've got both your arms free, so you can pour a glass of milk and hug your relatives and girlfriend when you see them, you know, kissing standing up, walking to a movie and holding the door. All these things are just incalculable. You can't truly put it into words how that changes your life.